everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the awe-inspiring world of the Tupolev Tu-160M2 Blackjack Bomber, also known as the Tu-160M2, which is a supersonic variable sweep wing strategic bomber developed by the Soviet Union and modernized by Russia for long-range strike missions. A massive swan-like behemoth that's the largest and fastest combat aircraft ever built and continues to dominate Russia's nuclear triad in 2025, despite its Cold War roots. If you're a military aviation enthusiast, a strategic air power buff, or just fascinated by the heavy hitters that can circle the globe with nuclear or conventional payloads while outrunning most fighters, you're in for an incredible flight because the Tu-160M2 isn't just an upgraded relic. It's a revitalized missile truck with enhanced engines, avionics, and stealth features, capable of Mach 2 speeds and carrying up to 45 tons of cruise missiles, like the Ka-101 for standoff attacks on targets thousands of kilometers away. First flown in its modernized form in 2022, after a production restart at the Kazan aviation plant, this white swan symbolizes Russia's commitment to strategic deterrence amid delays in its next-gen PAK-DA stealth bomber, with recent flights showcasing its role in ongoing operations over Ukraine and exercises signaling a message to NATO. We'll break down its jaw-dropping capabilities in full detail, give you a comprehensive technical rundown, explore its combat legacy and global impact, and cover the latest factual news straight from recent developments as of September 22, 2025, including the commissioning of new airframes and ongoing upgrades that keep it flying high. So grab a snack, get comfy, and let's take off for everything you need to know about the Tu-160M2 Blackjack Bomber, the Tu-160M2. Blackjack's capabilities are what make it a pinnacle of strategic aviation, engineered as a supersonic heavy bomber for both nuclear and conventional missions, where it can penetrate deep into enemy airspace at low altitudes or dash at high speeds to evade interceptors, delivering massive payloads, cruise missiles, or freefall bombs with pinpoint accuracy thanks to its modernized avionics and variable geometry wings that sweep back for Mach 2 dashes or extend for efficient loiter. At its core, this aircraft excels in long-range strike operations, carrying up to 12 Ka-101 or Ka-102 air-launched cruise missiles, also known as ALCMs, which are guided munitions fired from aircraft for standoff attacks, in two internal rotary launchers within its bomb bays. Each missile capable of flying 2,500 kilometers with conventional or nuclear warheads to hit high-value targets like command centers, airfields, or naval bases without risking the bomber in contested airspace. The upgraded NK-3202 engines, a refined version of the original Kuznetsov NK-32 turbofans, producing 25,500 kilogram force of thrust, each with afterburner, enable a maximum speed of Mach 2.05, about 2,200 kilometers per hour at altitude, and a combat range of 12,300 kilometers without refueling, extendable to 18,000 kilometers with in-flight refueling from Il-76 tankers, allowing it to strike from safe standoff positions like the Caspian Sea against targets in Europe or the Middle East. The modernized Novella NV 1.70 radar and glass cockpit provide enhanced situational awareness with synthetic aperture mapping for terrain following flights as low as 50 meters to avoid radar detection, while the defensive suite includes active jammers, infrared decoys, and radar warning receivers to counter surface-to-air missiles, making it survivable in medium-threat environments despite lacking full stealth. In operational terms, the Tu-160M2 can launch from bases like Engels Air Base, dash to launch points at supersonic speeds, release a salvo of missiles while turning away at full afterburner, and return home, all while its digital fly-by-wire controls and improved inertial navigation with satellite backups ensure precision even in GPS-denied zones. Its variable sweep wings adjust from 20 degrees for takeoff to 65 degrees for high-speed cruise, optimizing lift-drag for missions lasting up to 14 hours. Let's break down the technical specs and how the Tu-160M2 operates in practice. because Tupolev's engineering here is a masterful blend of Soviet brute force and modern upgrades, creating a bomber that's as massive as it is agile, with a wingspan of 55.7 meters extended and a length of 54.1 meters, weighing 275 tons at maximum takeoff for a payload of 45 tons in bombs or missiles. Powered by 4 Kuznetsov NK-32-02 turbofans, each with a dry thrust of 25,000 kilogram force and 55,000 with afterburner for a thrust-to-weight ratio that lets it climb to 18,000 meters in minutes. The aircraft cruises at Mach 0.75 for efficiency, but can sprint to Mach 2.05 for evasion, with a service ceiling of 20,000 meters and a ferry range of 18,000 kilometers on internal fuel, extendable via buddy refueling or Il-76 tankers. The airframe's blended wing-body design with variable geometry wings, sweeping from 20 to 65 degrees via hydraulic actuators, reduces drag at high speeds while providing lift for low-level penetration, and its titanium heat-shielded structure withstands the stresses of repeated supersonic dashes, with modern composites in the M2 upgrade lightening the airframe by 10% for better fuel economy. Avionics have been revolutionized with the Novella NV 1.70 multi-mode radar offering terrain-following modes, synthetic aperture ground mapping, and air-to-surface targeting up to 300 kilometers, paired with a digital glass cockpit featuring 5 large-area displays, head-up displays, and the NV 1.70 navigation system integrating inertial, satellite, and astronavigation for accuracy in jammed environments. The weapons bays house 2 rotary launchers for up to 12 K101-102 stealthy cruise missiles with 2,500 kilometer ranges and 300 kilogram warheads, or up to 40 tons of freefall bombs like the FAB 500 for carpet bombing, all released via bomb bay doors that minimize radar exposure. Operationally, the flow is a symphony of power. The crew of 4, pilot, co-pilot, bombardier navigator, and defensive systems operator takes off from hardened runways like those at Engels, climbs to cruise altitude on 2 engines for fuel savings, sweeps wings back for a supersonic dash to the release point, opens bays briefly to launch missiles with inertial and satellite guidance for terminal accuracy, then egresses at full afterburner while jammers and chaff disrupt pursuers, all in a 14-hour round trip that showcases its role as a standoff missile platform rather than a penetrator. The Tu-160M2 Blackjack's strategic role remains central to Russia's nuclear triad and conventional power projection in 2025, serving as the air leg's heavy hitter for long-range strikes that can reach Europe, the Middle East, or the U.S. East Coast from Arctic bases, with its massive payload and speed making it a credible deterrent against NATO, while its upgrades address vulnerabilities exposed in Ukraine like base vulnerability to drones. In exercises like those over the Barents Sea or strikes on Ukrainian infrastructure, it launches Kh-101 missiles from 2,000 kilometers away, forcing adversaries to spread air defenses thin, and its production restart ensures a fleet growth to 30 or more by 2030, filling the gap until the Pak-Da stealth bomber flies in the early 2030s. Fun fact, the Tu-160M2's nickname, White Swan, comes from its elegant swept-wing silhouette, but NATO calls it Blackjack after the card game, reflecting its high-stakes nuclear gamble. Another cool tidbit: each NK-3202 engine is so powerful it could power a small town, and the bomber's variable wings adjust in flight like a bird folding its feathers for speed. The latest news as of September 22, 2025, has the Tu-160M2 making headlines with the commissioning of 2 new Tu-160M2 airframes and 2 upgraded Tu-160M bombers as of July 2025, bringing Russia's operational fleet to around 16, with more in testing, amid a production surge at the Kazan aviation plant where the first new-build M2 flew in 2022 after a 30-year hiatus. Just yesterday, on September 21st, reports confirmed ongoing state-joint trials for the upgraded prototype, with enhancements to the Novella NV 1.70 radar, digital cockpit, and NK-3202 engines boosting range to 12,300 kilometers, and payload for Kh-101 missiles, while the Pak-Da stealth bomber's first flight slips to 2025 or later, making the M2 Russia's workhorse for standoff attacks like those on Ukraine from Engels Air Base. In a bold move, President Putin personally test flew a Tu-160M in March 2025, underscoring its prestige, and recent exercises over the Caspian Sea saw M2s launch Kh-101 strikes, simulating NATO targets, with plans for 50 new builds by 2030, despite sanctions hampering titanium supply. No exports are confirmed, but interest from China persists, and a Ukrainian drone strike on the Kazan plant in January 2025 caused explosions, but didn't halt production, highlighting base vulnerabilities. Challenges include the non-stealth design limiting penetration, but its speed and standoff weapons keep it viable into the 2030s. The Tu-160 M2 Blackjack Bomber is Russia's supersonic swan song, a missile-hauling giant that's flying faster and deadlier than ever in 2025. So, what do you all think about the Tu-160M2? Are you amazed by its Mach 2 dash and massive range, curious about its Ukraine ops, or got thoughts on its future versus the PAC-DA? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, give this video a like if you enjoyed it, share it with your friends who love aviation history, and if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel for more deep dives into the bombers shaping our skies. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.